Hi everyone, welcome to the DBG Voices podcast. I am your host, Teresa Mliro. I am excited to be joined today with an amazing young lady or an amazing African woman, Nollyn Perry. So, Miss Nollyn is a geomatic engineer with a passion for using GIS data technology to advance health and community impact. That is already interesting, yeah. She's also the founder of Nyota Pad Drive, and which is also a safe space, and a SRH initiative focused on reducing period poverty and creating safe spaces for campus students to access support and speak openly on sensitive issues, including sexual violence, HIV/AIDS, reproductive health. She's passionate about combining innovation, advocacy, and youth empowerment to drive meaningful change. Ms. Nollyn, it's a pleasure to have you at the DBG Voices. Please feel free to introduce yourself, anything that we've missed, we do not know, and feel free to also brag about any titles that we have. Here, we recognize that Black women are always silenced. They are never allowed to be boastful about, their achievements. So this is the platform you get to own every title you have. Over to you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Terry. Hi everyone. Like Terry has introduced myself, my name is Nollyn Perry. Just to add on what she said, I'm also a co-founder of GeoSisters. I have a background in geomatic engineering, and we thought it wise to start a program that helps talk more about the geomatic engineer to help empower young brains. So I think I can brag about that. We're really doing so much when it comes to empowerment, not only dealing with period poverty, but career wise, trying to mentor the young minds and telling them that there's a lot of opportunities out here and being good role models to them, and that's what we are doing so far as Geo Sisters. I think what else can I brag about? I'm the eldest daughter of six. I think that's something to brag about because it comes with a lot of responsibilities. Yeah. And I'm proud. I'm really proud. I guess God favors firstborn daughters. So I have nothing more to add. I guess that's all I have for now in terms of my introduction. Yeah, so back to you, Terry.
All right. I am so intrigued to learn about geosisters, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like me. I did geography, but I don't know really the science of geomatics. Maybe later on you're gonna explain a little bit and just shed light to anyone who'd like to join the geosisters network that you've co-founded. And let's start with the first daughter. What is being the first daughter? You already mentioned that it is a blessing, and I want to say, is it a curse? We want to find out from you. And what do you think about that?
It's a blessing in disguise, to be very honest, because you never choose to be a firstborn daughter. You're just born into this society, and you know how the society is right now. There are a lot of responsibilities that are put to the firstborn daughter, and we don't have a choice. We have to do what you have to do. And I've had a lot of your siblings are looking up to you. I'm leaving you in charge because you're responsible. You are the firstborn. You have to do this. You have to do that. So I guess that has shaped me in ways I couldn't imagine. Because I would look at my siblings, and sometimes they would just come and ask me a question, and I look at them and I'm like, no wonder you're the second born or the third born. You're just behaving like, okay, no offense, but it's something I wouldn't like. I had no one to ask those things. I had no one to depend on. You get my point? But they have me. Like, it really made me realize the impact of the role I'm playing as a firstborn daughter. Yeah, sometimes I just look at them and just smile, like, you can't do anything without me. Is it that thing? Yeah, but yeah, like literally, we are
I
the
guess,
second children.
yeah. I
Yeah.
guess I share the same sentiments because I am also a
Mhm.
firstborn daughter, and there's a lot of times that I feel frustrated because I'm like, can't you think? Can't you do it? So it's more like you're
Yeah.
the one that is supposed to provide some kind of direction. But the thing that most of individuals forget, even our families, is that we are doing this for the first time. We don't really have the answers. But
Mm,
I guess that is also, it comes with its peak because you hold I will say you hold power over a lot of things, which is something that we
mm.
all like to hold power. So now, for someone who doesn't know, and I know you want to say something, maybe you can say it as we continue with the
Okay.
conversation. So, for someone who doesn't really know Nollyn, and what will you say about your background, your upbringing? Someone who is interested to know, okay, where does this girl's journey start from? Where would you say it began? And tell us what you wanted to say before you get into it.
Okay, so now I wanted, you've really asked a very good question. It aligns with what I wanted to say. So I'll just say it as I respond to that. So for someone who don't to know me, I've had like crazy phases growing up. There was at some point I was this very quiet girl, just keeping everything to myself. At some point I was this bubbly, I was goofy, I was just everywhere, you know. In some way that your environment shapes you, by the way. And the times I was just being goofy, you know, I was just growing up in grade 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, you don't actually realize the impact of being a firstborn, so you're just living there like a child, like how children are supposed to live. That was my goofy era. I used to like play a lot, interact a lot, and you know, I was just living life. I was comfortable. You know, my parents could be able to provide food, shelter, and clothing. So I that is what life was for me. I thought everybody was in the same financial status as me, living in a single room. The toilets are outside. I mean, it was never a big deal. I was just a happy girl, just bubbly. Well, not until I started realizing that, you know what? Um, we're actually not all the same financially. And I remember this very well when a teacher asked us how much rent we are paying. And me, in my mind, I'm going there with 3,000, thinking that's a lot of money. I mean, we are rich. You can't tell me anything. Until someone said they're paying 30,000. You know, 30,000 around 2007, 2008, 2010. That's a lot of money. You can't compare right now to 2026, but that was a lot of money. That was when I realized that there are levels and that I shouldn't be comfortable the life that I'm living right now. We are basically surviving, by the way, just surviving. Anyway, now back to my quiet phase, by the way. So now I began to be so quiet and so keeping everything to myself when I realized I need to change the narrative of where I'm coming from, right? And I remember for me, academics, I just used to go to school to read. I mean, it was just a requirement, right? So I never really considered being number one or being number two. It was never in my mind. It was never a big deal for me. Like if you're number one, oh, it's our. There's nothing you're being given anyway. Even if we are attending press giving day, they give you that 500. I'm like, okay, you get my point. It was never a bother to me. As long as I'm eating, sleeping, and playing with my peers, me, I'm fine. Whatever happens, happens. That was life for me. So now, there was this teacher I remember in grade no, before I got to that part. In grade 6 I remember we were being given our English papers and I was among the top. I got it like I think a 46 out of 50. So I was, yeah, number one there when it comes to English. And then this girl comes to me and she's like, wow, you're so smart. You've gotten all these marks. And then I remember that look till now vividly. I looked at her and I'm like, what were we supposed to get? What did you come to school to do? I mean, this is the bare minimum. I didn't even say thank you, by the way, to make you see the magnitude of the situation. I didn't say thank you when she taught me that. that. I just looked at her and I'm like, you need to do better. What? I mean, you're amused by this. Aren't you used to it by now? I think I was just that nonchalant when it came to my academics. Not until there was this time we were marking our assignments, let me put it that way, and we were exchanging our books. And the person who had my book, kind of snitched that I had not finished the homework. And I got beaten thoroughly. And this teacher was shouting, you're very stubborn, but you're very smart at the same time. What's wrong with you? Why are you playing a lot? So she's beating me. I'm looking at her like, okay, okay. Okay, I'm smart, stubborn at the same time. I mean, aren't you supposed to be that? Anyway, so after that, she called me aside, by the way, and she sat me down and she told me, like, life is just not about waking up, eating, sleeping, and playing with your peers. There's more into it. And she made me realize that the background that I'm coming from, we need to change a lot about it. Like me, my siblings went to the same school, so they knew my brother, my sister, and they saw the condition that we were in, and for them they have the exposure. So she was trying to enlighten me that I shouldn't be comfortable, and that I have a gift, and that is my academics. It was coming naturally to me, and I didn't realize it. So she made me realize the potential that I have, and how much of an asset I was. So I think from there, I started now entering into my quiet phase. I started taking life seriously. I started taking everything that I do seriously. Like my academics became intentional. So I reduced my goofiness, right? And I started to put that energy into my academics. So imagine, previously I was not putting energy. I was just whatever I was taught in class, I just go write it in exams. I never used to revise before exams. So imagine, like, this time round, I've put all my energy, all my focus into my academics. It really made a difference, by the way. I now became, the number one. I used to, just look at it and I'm like, man, you'll be given 500. Okay, what about it? Now I started like aiming higher, aiming for that. And I remember I started from being awarded the most improved. And then from there, I realized I can actually do it. Then I started topping, being number one, number two, number one, number two, being given awards during prize giving day. And I remember being the first girl in my school when it came to our KCP. And because of that, I got into a good national school. By the way, my teachers were super, super proud. But now, like I said, all my siblings, we went to the same school, right? So my brothers and sisters who were behind me, whenever they could, okay, they were kind of notorious. Okay, you just know second bonds and third bonds. Anyway, the teachers would be like, you're playing here and your sister left us with really good marks. What's wrong with you? So I never knew that is what they were being told. You're playing around and your sister was very smart. Didn't you see the marks she got? She got to a good school. No wonder you're playing here. Anyway, that's also what comes with being a firstborn, and like it's like you're creating a path for your siblings, right? Sometimes people may use that to compare your siblings to you. I know it's not like a good thing per se because everybody has different paths, right? But
Mm.
it is what it is. So I'd say that is my background. And also, I remember in primary, as much as I was in my quiet phase, you couldn't like just come and tell me anything and I just do it. You couldn't control me. I was super strict. I was this tiny. The way they always say it's always the short people. I was this tiny, but you could never bully me. Like, who do you think you are? Hey, okay, I was a menace. I
Just from what you have laid out, there's things
uh-huh.
that you've mentioned that are quite interesting. You say that for you, academics, you never struggled in school, so it came to you naturally. And then you didn't feel the need to brag about it because you thought it is the standard. So, the
Yeah.
question I want to ask, your parents weren't pointing out any of your academic qualification and being like, you're doing good and stuff like that?
Nah, I've never gotten that from my parents. Never.
Oh,
Now.
Do you feel like they just didn't do that intentionally, or was it just the way things were?
Um, I don't know what to say about. I think looking at them right now, they just that I mean, just do your thing. As long as you're not getting into trouble, as long as you're progressing, you're doing great. They will support you, yes, but they wouldn't like uh you know maybe they just didn't want it to get into my head. I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
you know. You know, sometimes they usually say if you praise someone too much, they may end up, being too prideful and lose focus. Maybe that's what they had in mind, right? Because, like I said, I was in my quiet phase. As much as I was in my quiet phase, you couldn't tell me anything. I used to do whatever I want. Like, as long as I'm not getting into trouble, well, what's there to talk about? What do you want to tell me? Like, I know it's coming off in a bad way, but it was just me. I became so emotionally detaching from people. It was just about me. Like I'm
And
doing my thing. Yeah.
and
So
now,
I don't need your opinion. You know, like I'm doing my thing and I'm doing it perfectly. Like you can see the results. So what do you want to tell me? You get?
so I'm taking it as is it the environment that shaped you? What really pushed you to be that? Because you're just a child. I'm thinking of
Okay.
myself as a, but yeah, also looking back in my life, there was also as a firstborn daughter, you see a lot of things, and at some point, you just shut yourself. So it's more
Mhm.
like you just go through the motions of life without really caring much. Okay, I've done this. All right, fine, next. So
Yeah.
I still do that. Currently, that is just me, what you're describing. But now it's a little bit disheartening thinking about it from where we are. We are now young adults, but from that point, you are very young. Where did you feel the
Mhm.
need to have this pressure? You couldn't celebrate your wins. You're just going through the motions, and then there's the financial part you've mentioned, where someone says they're paying 30,000 rent and you're paying 3,000, so they're paying 10 times more than your family is.
Mhm.
How did this affect you? Because one of the things we've already gotten is that it pressured you to now concentrate on your academia so that you can
Mhm.
better your family. Is there psychosocially now? Let's look at that aspect.
Okay, so how that impacted me right now and how it shaped my personality. Remember, I started by saying I was a firstborn and everything was falling on me. They used to like make me in charge of my siblings and whatnot at that very young age, you know. So now it made me become super controlling and it made me like, if I'm not in charge of everything, everything would go wrong. Like it made me have that superiority over everybody around me. I mean, my siblings were kind of enjoying it because it made them see that everything's just running seamlessly, right? Like I do everything, I'm there for them. You know what I'm saying? So now, when I came to the outside world, it shaped how I interacted with people. So you'd realize the friends that I had, it's like I'm their leader. Okay, not leader per se, but I'm the one who's making the decisions. Like I have the final say. You know what I'm saying? And now, if I meet someone who's thinking on their own, who has a sane mind to make their own decisions, so I'm looking at them like, so you can think by yourself. Mm, I see. So what am I doing here? It's like you have to check in with me before you do anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it has shaped how I've interacted with people who wanted to, us to be more than friends, if you know what I'm saying, because there can't be two people who are, thinkers. I don't know if you're getting me. I don't know if you're getting my point.
I am
Like,
getting you. I am getting you, and I'm sure a lot of
like,
our listeners are gonna really resonate with this, because I think it is a thing with firstborn daughters. You know, you always feel the need to control
mhm.
everything. if you're not the one who's leading, you're not the
Yeah.
one who is making the call,
Mm.
it seems like something is gonna go wrong. But is that wrong?
Yeah.
At a lot of times, things do go wrong if you're not keeping them under wraps. And yes, it affects how you interact with others, especially now when you're getting into like relationships, like the romantic kind, because
Made me like realize and accept that some people can think for themselves. I don't have to police them. I don't have to shelter them. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of appreciate that. No, it made me get attracted to such people. I don't have to be there for things to work for you. As in, I'm attracted to people who can think for themselves and make the same decision. People who have determination, purpose. They envision their futures for themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's so nice having such a person, by the way, as a partner. And that is where my I've always looked at, by the way. If you see the people I'm interacting with right now, I've learned to embrace that people have their own minds, and they're not my siblings. I don't have to I don't have to I don't have to do everything. I don't have to do everything for them. So yeah, I've really met amazing people in that perspective. People who are really smart, and there's nothing like a smart guy who's making his own decision. It just made me realize like the two of us in that state, we can do way much more for maybe ourselves, for our personal growth, before we now introduce other people, like maybe our children and whatnot. So yeah, I guess it has shaped my taste in men. Yes.
Oh, nice. We want to see a lot of women understand who they are and they can make
Mm,
decisions from that point and not from the victim
mm,
side. And now
yeah.
that brings me fast forward. So you've told us a background, your background growing up, your environment, your parents, and how they didn't compliment you for anything. But I hope that nowadays they do compliment you, or that is a thing that has stuck. I'm
Even
so
if
sorry.
even if
Unfortunately,
they don't, even if they do compliment me, I look at them like, "What are you doing? That's cringe. Stop
you're
it."
like,
You
I'm
know?
not used to
Oh
this.
no, stop it. Don't do it. It will make me feel uncomfortable. I mean, I'm already used to
Mm.
it. It's we are way far in. Maybe they can do that with our youngest sibling. I mean, they still have
But
a long way to go.
now, didn't that affect how you receive appreciation, not just from your parents, from other people? Let's say you have worked
Yeah.
on something and people see that it's good and they compliment you. So because you were not used to be complimented, did that affect how you perceive when someone says that you've done a good job?
Well, let me say, I used to get a lot of compliments in school. So it's not like I was not being complimented totally. It's just my parents were not doing it, but everybody around me was doing it. So, okay, I don't know. Me, as long as I've done something and it's working, I really don't care about being complimented. It's about me, it's about having the results that I wanted. So it really doesn't matter. Even right now, I guess it would only matter if it's my partner, if I get the acknowledgement from someone whom we are sharing more than friendship bond. I think that's the only thing that would matter, because it would make me realize that I have someone who's cheering for me, someone who's just not my friend. I guess that's the only acknowledgement that would matter right now.
All
And
right.
I don't know if that's twisted, but that's just me.
That's just you, and you are allowed to be you. That is the
Yeah.
good thing. So let's fast forward now. From the moment I interacted with you, I knew you through a project that you had started way back in campus, and I want to understand which is Nyota Pad Drive. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about Nyota Pad Drive and why you started it at that point. Because I know for a lot of campus students, especially young women, they don't get into leadership. But I think it is a little bit different for firstborn daughters, because you are always you feel the need to do things. But I don't think that is the only thing that triggered you to start that. So take us through the journey of Nyota Pad Drive. So that is maybe a little bit of your campus, and then now getting to the point of establishing Nyota.
Okay. So what made me start Nyota? I remember very, very well. There was an issue about, when you get to campus, it's like you're forgotten. As much as you're an adult, by the way, you're above 18, most of us still need guidance. Most of us still need being checked up on, by the way. I mean, we are trying to transition from being a high schooler to being a university student. I don't think people understand that magnitude. And what happens is you're just thrown into the world, by the way. Especially for someone who's used to being sheltered and being like, I don't know how to say it, like you're protected from the world, right? And now you're just thrown into the world. You're like, okay, so where should I start? Now, let's look at it in this aspect. Financial, financially, let's just look at it financially. Parents think that as long as you're in campus, you have all the capabilities to fend for yourself. I mean, they are wrong and right at the same time. Yes, we do have the capabilities, yes, but we kind of need support. We kind of need a helping hand along the journey. You cannot just throw someone into the world and just expect them to survive from the first go. Well, for those who do it, congratulations. But that is where we lose a lot of great minds, by the way, in campus. Financial stability. And if you realize, if you look at social media, people usually complain about that, by the way. They end up getting depressed. They end up having too much anxiety. I mean, what am I going to eat tonight? As much as they're staying in hostels, you have to eat, you have to dress, you have to buy books. The school is not providing you with exercise books, they're not providing you with pens, you know. Anyway, so it made me think, what about sanitary towels? If you look at the prices, the way our economy has been putting tax on pads, the prices are just going up, up, and up. It made me so sad, right? We are having students struggle to buy a meal of 50 shillings, right? And now they have to worry about getting sanitary towels. I mean, that is the most basic necessity in this world that someone shouldn't have to worry about. I know people who've used tissues. They had to skip classes, by the way, in campus. They had to skip lectures, let me say that, and they had to stay at home. Just use the way people call it free bleeding. You bleed on a cloth and then you just wash it later, or maybe just use tissues. Imagine that's what people are doing at this current era. People are still using clothes as a substitute to sanitary towels. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that is? Anyway, so now I talked to my friends, big up to Beckham and Susan and Ruth. I gave them my idea and I was like, bet, let's do it. And that's how we sat down, we thought of a name, came up with Nyota Pad Drive, and we started our first initiative. We started one in a primary school, and then we were like, yeah, we can actually do it. And that's now when we ventured into the campus edition, and we've been doing it till now. Now, to add on that, the moment you start interacting with people in the community, you get to hear more stories. So now I'm meeting with my people and we are talking about, Nyota Pad Drive, and they are telling me of this lady. Oh God, I'm not in a judgmental way, but she has to sleep with a man who's paying her some cash in order to cater for her needs, and that's like maybe 10K. So 10K per session, right? And now she has, from that 10K, she has to buy now food, she has to buy clothes, now all the necessities. So you'll realize the extent as to which our girls are going just to make life bearable in campus. I know people are having questions like she can do other things, she can find other ways of getting money. She's just trying to find the easy way out, but Society can really be cruel to such people who choose to do that. I mean, maybe she did. For her to go to that extent, I don't think it's something anyone would just go into it. And I really get pissed off when people who are choosing to do such kind of things, they're only looking for an easy way out. Who told them that thing is easy, by the way? Who told them having to sleep with someone 10 times older than you there is an easy way out? I feel like they sound so stupid, not in a bad way, but anyway. So now it made us, strengthen our objectives and our goals to reach to as many campus students as possible. Like the least we can do is provide sanitary towels. They do not need to worry about that. Let me give you another scenario. I know of this lady. She's in a toxic relationship, by the way, and she's in campus, right? Second year. The boyfriend is beating her. The boyfriend would even like chase her in the middle of the night. And when she's asked as to why she's staying with the guy, she's like, he's my only source of income. Like he provides, just maybe lunch and the sanitary towels. So I'm like, oh my god. So what do you actually mean right now? Anyway, we are not judging. I'm just trying to create the situation that is there on the ground. And I think we need to speak more to our campus students. We are going to uncover a lot of things that our girls and definitely our boys, what they are doing just to survive. Sometimes it's so sad, and we just hope they do survive and make it out of it like better people and come back help the people who are behind them. So that is what we are doing with Nyota Pad Drive, trying to help such people. And I think so far we've done a pretty good job with the JQuat students, and we are hoping to expand to other campuses as well. Yeah.
Well, I will start by saying congratulations and then just going back to the conversation, following through. You've mentioned a lot of critical things. You've mentioned that a lot of us youths, we go to campus, our parents have struggled and sent us there. But the problem is they think that now you're adults, so they don't offer as much support. So it's more like you're supposed to fend yourself. They'll do a part of it, probably just concentrate on school fees, and then you're supposed to take care of the rest. And remember, you don't have, this is the space where you don't have opportunities yet. You're not qualified or skilled in anything. And truth be told, even the job of, let's say, working in a shop or even just the selling across the road, it is not as easy as people say that, you could do something else instead of that. And definitely, there's a lot of things that when you look closely, they contribute to someone making the decision of, okay, this person has money. What is the big deal in terms of me getting myself involved with them so that I'm able to access the money? And now I have a question for you, among other questions we're going to go through. Do you think society has played a role in women, especially young girls, making such decision that, you know what, I can just look for a man, or if a man comes and he has money and he's offering me the money, it can take care of my needs. So I don't really need to say no. I can just say yes.
Okay, yes, society definitely plays a role in everything if you think about it. Let me talk about stigmatization. The reason as to why a lady won't come openly and ask for sanitary towels is because word may go around, people may start talking, and that is the worst fear everybody has. Having people look at you in a certain way, you can't even get your own sanitary towels. I mean, it's always the stigma that makes us not like progress as a society. You do something, they always are going to talk, and we still view periods as shameful, like I say. And let me give you a good example. When someone is out there openly requesting for help to get sanitary towels, just a lady, maybe she's single, the first thing you hear people say is get a boyfriend to do that. I mean, who said it's a boyfriend's responsibility to cater for a lady in such, scenarios? So that is what drives most ladies into relationships. I mean, it's like they're providing a solution which is basically crazy, driving people into toxic relationships, driving people, you end up getting pregnant, someone wants you to abort, people are losing their lives. I mean, a lot of decision surrounds what the society perceives and what the society tells us is right. So that's all I can say about that.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that because I've been to campus and we go to do stuff that we don't talk about it. Between us, we talk about it, and sometimes we just encourage each other, but we don't get to tell maybe our parents or people because you are trying to survive, and sometimes survival means doing things that are putting yourself at risk, because this is a risky thing that you enter into a relationship because of money. That is power play already in action, and there's no way you can be like, okay, we are equal in this relationship. We are not equal, because someone holds power over you. They dictate how you eat, how you dress, and every other thing. So it becomes a really this is part of those conversation that we should seriously be having, and to figure out what solutions are we going to put in place. Because if our young girls cannot feel the systemic support for them to go through their education and feel the need to explore other ways of survival, then we have failed as a society. So Nyota Pad Drive has been there for a while now. You've been able to shape a lot of campus students. You've been able to transform that, and still you have expanded away from campus to extending the same to high schools, and now you're also doing mentoring. Tell us about that, mentoring and advocacy.
Okay, so now I came to realize that people don't want to be judged. People just want to be heard, by the way. And that is what drove me into wanting to mentor in terms of career, in terms of whatever happens in life. For instance, you're there, your boyfriend is beating you. So instead of me coming to be so judgmental as to why are you still staying with him, blah blah blah, I just want to sit down, we reason together. But there is a power in sitting down, talking to someone, and make them say by their own mouth that this is not good. I need to change. Do you know that? And I feel like that's how therapists do it. They talk to you, and you end up by yourself realizing that all is not well. And then we need to look at things in a different way. Maybe we can get another solution. So I really, really love seeing people in that space where they're like, oh, yeah, so I can actually do this. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this, but I didn't know where to start. This actually makes sense. Do you realize? Have you ever talked to someone and look at their facial expression and they're like, something has been reignited in them because finally they have someone who's listening, someone who's giving them space to share their minds, to share their ideologies. I mean, we are all not perfect, by the way, and someone, like I said, stigmatization, someone will not want to speak out loud because they fear what the society would tell them, right? So if I'm there, I'm giving you the space to yap about everything that's on your mind, like pour your heart out to me, and then from there we can walk through that journey of reasoning and see how best you can go about situation. That's a really nice feeling, to be very honest. Now, when it comes to now kids, now leave the young adults. I think I've talked about them for quite a while. Talking about mentoring young kids, most of them they are trying to figure out life, basically, not in the aspect of us adults, but who they want to be when they grow up, their careers and whatnot. So when I sit down with most of them and they're like, Teacher, I want to do these. What do you think I should do? Do you think I can do it? I'm like, hell yeah, you can do it. And you just see them like they're so bubbly, they're so happy right now, and they're starting to put more effort in whatever they do. So now that is what we do with Junior Sisters. We are trying to tell them that the field of careers is beyond just being a doctor, lawyer. No offense to those professions, but you would agree that they're the mainstream careers that children are being told right now. If I'm trying to also collect some information on the careers children are thinking of doing in my workplace, and most of them are just saying, I want to be a doctor, lawyer, nurse, doctor, lawyer, nurse. It's the same old song. So when we try and expose them, give them exposure as to how vast the career is, especially in geomatic engineering, right? They now look at it in another aspect. Like, I'm good in geography, I'm good in social studies, so I can actually do this. I'm like, yeah, you can do it. So now in our class we were like, I think 40, 45, around there. And for us girls, I think we were less than 15. So you see, there's that imbalance, right? And as women, as we're trying to empower other women, we're trying to like tell them, I did it, you can do it too. You can become part of STEM. Okay,
Mm.
so that is also what I'm doing when I'm talking about mentorship, mentoring young kids, mentoring those who are already in the field and maybe they feel like it's not working out for them. So we are trying to create platforms where they can interact with professionals in those fields who to create like that role model in them, have them visualize that maybe this would be me in the next 2 years. I would be sitting in these panelists talking about my passion and I'm getting like good money. So if we provide them access to these resources, don't you think like they will be in a better place, to be very honest, as to letting them figure out things by themselves. So I think we are really doing a good job as Dear Sisters in terms of that. Yeah.
Amazing. And I want to say congratulations because, it is not easy combining everything that you're doing and still you're a
Mhm.
young adult trying to navigate life. You're still trying to figure out how things are still working, the system, but you're already
Yeah.
starting to shape the next generation and contribute to the
Mhm.
current generation,
Mhm.
which is something very, very intriguing. So, how will you say your leadership journey is influenced as an African woman when it comes to being perceived, being listened to, being acknowledged, and also just the whole trajectory of leadership? Do you think that it is easy for you to now navigate leadership, or how has that journey looked like for you?
Um, to be very honest, it's not easy because they always say if much is given, much is expected, right? So now there's no room for you to make mistakes. You are mentoring other people. Why isn't it working for you? You know, people are going to do comparison. For you to tell me something, you must be in a better place. You know what I'm saying? And look at the society as it is. Some men can be very, very like not open-minded in about a woman, being in leadership spaces, telling them like, oh, we need to do this, go into this direction. They're like, okay, go tell other women that. I mean, we are men. You know what I'm saying? It's still a thing. By the way, they may not like tell it to you, but you can actually feel it. That's what's happening. But I really do acknowledge and I really do appreciate men who support women. I mean, for me, I've had friends, male friends, who are so big into women being the best versions, and I'm so happy. And I don't know, whatever they are, I hope I hope they actually know that we don't like take it for granted. It's actually so hard to get a man who's open-minded about you being in leadership spaces and wanting to sit down and reason with them, chip in your insights and whatnot. It's actually not easy. So I do appreciate those that I have in my life. Now, again, as a leader, um, you may come off as intimidating to other people. Some people may not want to like socialize you. They think you sit in this high seat, and that's actually not the case. As much as you're a leader, you need to some aspect of being strict, trying to make things run and whatnot. We are somehow humble. We are really like, okay, let me speak for myself. If someone may look at me at maybe at a glance and they're like, nah, she's not easy to deal with, she's not easy to talk to. But once they come to know me, most of them say, oh my god, why are you so goofy? Why are you not serious? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I mean, this is me. You just have to be self-aware, know when to joke, know when to be serious. Like you have to find a way to marry those things, right? So I guess that's that. Also, when it comes to intimidation, like I said, when it comes to the African society, some men don't like it when a woman is in leadership position and a woman can think for herself, like I said. They would maybe feel threatened that you're trying to be the head of the family, which is actually not the case. I mean, me coming here and telling you my thoughts doesn't mean I want to take your position as the man of the house. What do you mean? Like you have to consult me. Whatever decision you're making, they have to pass through me. I mean, we are living together. We are in this together. There's no I'll just sit down and just let you make decisions for everything. It's not possible. So when someone hears me saying that, they're like, nah, me I want a submissive woman who won't talk back at me like that. So you see, I mean, yeah, that's the intimidation I'm talking about. Some men are anyway, it's part of African society, and I hope they'll be able to break that reasoning.
Now, I have a question, and this question is actually something that a lot of women, a lot of girls, especially girls who are like now they're pursuing education, they're pursuing career, personal development, are asked a lot. And I want to know how you will respond and what you can also advise other young women who are pursuing the same to respond. Who will marry you when you're headstrong? Who will want to do life with you? And will you find a man?
Let me say, I have them. I mean, there are people who are open. There are people who are open-minded, by the way, and people have preference. Let me put it that way. Like I'm not trying to belittle those people who watch that submissive women. I mean, some women also just watch that. They just don't want too much stress on them making decisions and all. So they're just fine. I mean, whatever works for you, it's fine. What I'm trying to say is, don't be super harsh as to someone who's choosing a different path like me. So I believe that's something I never used to like worry about, because like I said, the circle of people that I have, very, very supportive men. They want to be with someone whom they can sit down with and reason, come up with a solution like, babe, niambie, what can we do here? What do you think? They want someone who's doing good for themselves, right? They want to be proud of the woman that they are dating. That's the kind of people I have. So that's why I'm saying I'm not worried. I've never been worried. So
Well,
you
I
see,
would say congratulations to you because
yeah,
it is
thank
not
you.
easy to come across a lot of a very, how do I say it, a very kind society that is
Yeah.
accepting for, especially for African women, for you to pursue an education, a higher education, for you to chase your dreams. If you say, okay, I don't want to be married right now, they are willing to acknowledge that, that is not the thing you want right now. Maybe
Mhm.
you'll revisit in a couple of years. So I'm really glad that for you, you have this community that is supportive for you to
Mm.
pursue all your dreams. And as we come to the ending of this session, I know we are going to have a lot of conversation, but right now, as we come to pause this specific session, what would you say your journey, just in terms of summarizing your journey as an African woman, and also as we look towards the people that are listening to you, how will you maybe say your journey could impact them or help them in shaping what their current situations?
Like I say, I think I've grown to be an empath, like just trying to listen to people, hear where they are at in life, and see how much more they can get out of any situation that they are in. And being in leadership, you have to be humble. By the way, you really need to be humble, and you really need to know how to talk to people with this, which is a skill I'm trying to, you know, um, how do I say it? I'm trying to be better at that because, like I said, I reached a point I started to be a lot um, by myself. Started skipping in things. I was a really quiet girl at some point. So it made me lose track of how to communicate with people, how to socialize, you know. And right now communication is key. If you cannot be able to say what's on your mind properly, you'd find people stepping up on you. You'd find people using you and taking your kindness for granted. Like I said, being in leadership, you're supposed to perform certain roles. So you would find people misusing your kindness, and they'll be so entitled to you helping them because you're in a certain position in life. So if you don't know how to create boundaries, if you don't know how to communicate, it will be kind of hard, which is something I'm also trying to learn to do, especially now that I'm in this workspace. And you have to socialize with your colleagues, you have to socialize with other people you're meeting here and there, you have to create connection, you have to know how to keep things professional, and you have to know how to also talk to your partner. The way you're talking to your colleagues is not how you're going to talk to your partner. So you see, and your friends as well. There is that dynamic that I'm trying to figure out right now. And considering there is a lot of perception on how an African woman should behave at a certain age, you're supposed to be in this level, do this, do that. So it's really crazy, but to any woman out there who's doing the best that they're doing, just keep it up. We are seeing you and we are acknowledging you. And by us not giving up, we are creating a future for those coming behind us, by the way. We actually may not know the impact we are making, but the people coming behind us are really looking up towards such people. We are really creating a future for them in ways we can never imagine. Imagine you're talking to this young girl, and fast forward, she's a neurosurgeon and she's coming to talk to you like, you kind of inspired me. Do you know how that feels? It feels so nice, so nice. So I learned to know that I'm not living this life for myself. Being in leadership, a lot of people are looking up to me. A lot of people are maybe in spaces they don't have role models, and I'm the role model. I may know it, I may not know it. So it has made me, be intentional and cautious of what I do, by the way. And I'd say the Perry in campus and the Perry right now, we are very different. Very different. I feel like I should re-meet people, reintroduce myself because I'm learning a lot of things, by the way. And I'm learning how to put my emotions in check, by the way, because I tell myself that everything we do comes down to emotions. If I feel like to do something, maybe I'm extremely overjoyed, I may end up making the worst mistake of my life. If I'm too sad, too depressed, and having so much self pity, I may miss out on opportunities as well. So you see, having my emotions in check is also playing a big role as to how I navigate life as an African woman in this crazy society. If I was to be sad every time, be irrational whenever I get crazy reviews from maybe a guy or maybe a colleague, I don't think I would still envision the future that I want for myself. So that's all I can say, by the way. Keep your emotions in check. Have clear communication skills, and keep your head up. Don't be afraid to risk trying new things. There's a lot of opportunities for anyone who's confident out here. And don't listen to society, by the way. Don't let society dictate what you can and what you cannot do, or where you're supposed to be at a certain point in life. Nah, just do you. As long as you're doing it right, do you. That's all I can say.
Amazing. I don't think there's anything we need to add to that. So I'm just going to halt it at that. And so maybe someone wants to connect Nyota with Nyota Pad Drive, someone wants to connect with Geo Sisters, or just you on a mentorship or anything. How will they reach you? Can you give some way that they can be able to contact and get in touch?
Yes, definitely. On all social media, you can reach us at Nyota Pad Drive and Geosisters as well. Geosisters Hub. Yeah, you can just send us a DM. We respond real quick. Yes.
Amazing. So this is certainly exciting. We've had an exciting conversation. And to everyone listening, you can be part of this conversation because this conversation, Dear Black Girl Voices, is a platform where African women get to tell their stories and, own their stories, change their narratives, and be their authentic self. This is a platform that is open to you if you like to be a guest for our next conversation. Feel free to reach us via our email. We're going to leave that. There's also a link to becoming a guest to the DBG podcast. We're going to put that in the description or comment section so that you are able to connect with us in that capacity. Also, a reminder, this September we are hosting the DBG East African Summit. This is the first regional convening that we are hosting at Dear Black Girl. Tickets for this are available on Quicket. If you have any questions, please reach out to us via email or comment, and we'll be able to connect with you. You can also reach us through our social media platform. Everywhere it's Dear Black Girl Movement or Dear Black Girl Foundation. We hope to see you next, and we hope to bring you more conversation that could also help shape you. And this is also just to tell you that as African women, you don't need to be a victim. You can be an architect of your future and your present. So with that, I'll see you on the next one. I've been your host, Teresa Mliro.